Hey guys, welcome back to Who Doctor Who. I'm Esau, aka Centurion.
I'm Jess, aka TARDIS, and this is the show where we're going to watch an episode and give you our views on it.
And today's episode we're reviewing is episode 3 from season 3, Shakespeare's Code.
And in this episode, it features David Tennant as the Doctor and Freema Agnew as Martha. And they're also in London around 1599, about the time with Shakespeare, obviously.
Yeah, and let's talk about Shakespeare for a second. Like, historically speaking, we always think he's high, lord style, very sophisticated, well educated, And in this episode, even the Doctor, that was his take on him. And then, what does he do?
The scene where they're like in the audience, and after he comes out and says, "Shut up, all you guys," and then it's just kind of the guy. I think Martha's just like, "You should never meet your heroes."
Yeah.
So that one's always kind of funny. I was like, in our head, this is what we expect, and this is what
the way he was acting, like I expected some kind of fart joke, an armpit joke, or something,
Yeah.
Like some cheap old gag.
I also enjoyed his interaction with Martha a little bit, because he was like going after that like a horny boy at a nightclub, and it's like last call, trying to go home with somebody, and his choice was Martha.
He's like, I like my coffee dark right now.
And then he even I like that he's like literally taken by her from the minute she kind of pops her head out behind from David Tennant, and he's like, "Oh, I like this blackamoor lady," and she's just like, "What did you just call me?" And it's just like this whole political correctiveness just kind of goes out the window because it's a different time period. It didn't matter.
It really didn't matter. I mean, technically, if she lived at that point, she'd probably be some kind of servant or, somewhere.
Yeah, like be like a housemaid or something, just because that's what it was in those times. But it was interesting to kind of see their interaction anyways, because he wanted that so bad. And she was just like, "No, good. Thanks, so, because your breath stinks." I'm like, how are you going to turn Shakespeare down and then like, your breath stinks?
Well, I mean, to be fair, she's using Colgate, he's using piss water. I really don't know.
I don't think they brushed their teeth back then. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe if you're a historian, you can let us know the things down below.
And then, this is like Martha's first adventure.
Yeah.
He takes her out. Shit happens, as always. There wouldn't be an episode if nothing happened. We wouldn't pay to see the Doctor go, "Here's the Doctor in the adventure, he goes surfing." Okay, that's about it,
Yeah, because that's part of the adventure of it, but it really was like the first time he was like, she heard that. Where he was like, "Okay, I'm going to take you on this adventure with me," and she was kind of like, but he made it clear, "This is all you're going to get. I don't want a companion right now." He's hurting from Rose,
which he makes very clear when they're in the bed. It's like he's looking at her with all those, dreamy eyes for you ladies out there,
and you're like, "Whoa, you can't be giving her those googly eyes. Those eyes are for Rose, sir."
And he's like, "I'm missing something right in front of my face. I just don't."
And
Rose would know what to do.
She leans in seductively, like something about to happen. And he's like, Rose would killer.
Yeah. And you can see the instant, like, what?
Yeah.
Like, really? That's what we're gonna. We're in bed together, almost like in a cuddle situation. We're looking at each other. We're like
Rose.
Inches away from kissing, and you're thinking about Rose.
And even like the whole episode, like you really see how Rose like influenced him the entire time, taking him from the angry, almost emotionalist kind of Christopher Eccleston style to more of an excited, happy, emotionally expressive person that David Tennant was as the Doctor. And that was kind of cool that you still see she still has a place in his heart and he's not ready just to move on.
Oh yeah.
It was realistic.
Which in a way I think that's why a lot of people like myself, and I think as you know included, we weren't big Martha fan. Like, we won't say she was useless. She had her purposes and
she had her stories.
She was a really strong woman. I give her that, but I just didn't like her, and I think part of the reason is because the constant, I just got into Doctor Who recently, so I got to see.
So in love with Dave, Doctor Who, the Doctor as David Tennant, that it was like, stop throwing yourself. Like, to me, like, she was a strong woman in certain aspects. When it's like in a relationship, she just kind of went. Like, she was trying to make something be there that just was not there.
And for people like me, we're watching the season back to back.
Yeah.
And when you do that, you don't have time to mourn over Rose. You're like, oh my God, Rose is gone. You're a little heartbroken. Then you watch the next episode, and there you go.
There goes
By
another
episode
drama.
3, there's a new companion. And from there on, he just kind of throws a Rose hint. There's no time to heal. Every time you feel like you're about to heal, Rose is back. And you're like, oh.
By the time I
throws
think...
out that wound.
Yeah. That it was like a very bad thing, because it was like you were trying to get over and then you really couldn't because there were constant reminders being thrown at you the entire time. But you find out later why. But it was still kind of like, it's sad that you have to... He's reeling through like a bad breakup, essentially. Because he never really got to say goodbye the way he wanted to.
Yeah, I mean, he just like...
Although he didn't burn up his son for her. So that's kind of like an epic, I'll miss you.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
And then, like, the doctor's epic in this episode, like normally he is. And then, you know, he's throwing out phrases and quotes from, like, famous author. And Shakespeare's over here trying to steal it.
And he's like, no, you can't have that. That's somebody else's. And he's like, oh, okay.
He's like, oh, no, oh, really? Oh.
He's like, you can write that one down. Like, it was kind of cool that he was giving Shakespeare's quotes, because it was kind of like, it shows you again, you got to be careful what you say when you go back in the past, because it will have an effect.
Yeah, you might make something happen earlier than it's supposed to, or not happen at all.
Yeah, and that was something that was kind of cool to see how. And one thing I did like was the movie reference at the very beginning to the butterfly effect. So it was literally kind of like a butterfly effect you saw in the episode.
He's like, wait. She's like, what about the butterfly? He's like, don't step on him. Why do you have to say anything about the butterfly?
What did they ever do to you?
Like
you
really?
know, kind of like calling him out on it. Like, why are you trying to attack a butterfly? But he was very fabulous. And the moment where he like tried to show Shakespeare the psychic paper, and he's just like, I don't see anything. Why are you giving me a blank piece of paper? And then he's like, oh, that's right. You're a true genius. So obviously you wouldn't see it. But Martha's like, I can read it. And it's like, you just made yourself look really dumb.
Yeah, pretty much.
But that's, again, also not a huge Martha fan. She just wasn't my cup of tea for several reasons. So it was kind of one of those moments where I was like, yeah. And I don't know if it really was because she was so close after Rose, or it was just, to me, she never really developed like a super, like with, you know, Donna, she had that like jokey kind of semi-feisty, you know, personality. Rose was a sweet, smart person. And Amy was fiery, you know. Rory was just her lovable husband.
Ooh, lovable. No. Rory was much more, okay?
I love Roy. Like, no, I'm saying, like, personality-wise, like, Roy was way more than that.
Rory was badass.
He was
you put the
dedicated.
doctor in place. He's like, dude, you fuck with my wife, I'll fucking kill you.
Yeah. He did kind of just call him out on that. And it was, that was cool. But back to the episode, because now we've wandered off.
All right, so, in this episode, you have the introduction of the Karenites. Sorry for my mispronunciation. But... you have them, and this is like their first and last episode. Minus, I think there was a reference you said earlier about later on with Donna. He's like he throws them out of a.
Yeah, like he had some trunk with like where he organized everything by C's. It was just this C trunk, and he had like pulled out the glove and was like, "Oh, Karenites." I think he was looking the episode with Agatha Christie because he was looking for her book, and he just tosses the thing back. So that was kind of like the only other time you really see him mentioned. Yeah, but that was about it.
So these are witches in all retrospect, and with
the power of words essentially is what they had. They knew how to phrase stuff, and what I like, because even in Doctor Who, you realize that the timing of something, the phrasing of it, can really impact you. And like for me personally, when watching the show, like the show kind of made me a better person. Not that I was a horrible human being, but I took lessons from it. Or like, okay, well, especially like the big lesson that nobody's like, there isn't anybody that you'll ever meet that isn't important. That although they may not play a significant role in your life, they always play a role to somebody in the world, and they're important.
Oh yeah, everyone affects everybody.
Yeah,
so it's a domino effect.
Yeah, and that's kind of the thing that it teaches you that acting and like the magic of television and theater and all that there are power in the words and how you say stuff, and that's what I really liked about this episode.
Yeah, and Karenites look cool. I mean,
they were like your traditional looking witches, but they were a little bit alien at the same time, you know.
I know, and I love how the fact that like she's like tries to kill the doctor, like, I'm gonna stab you in the heart. He's like, lays down on the ground, and fucking Martha just is like, you got two, stop being stupid, you know? And so she just kind of calls him out. Well, that's when she first finds out she has two hearts, if you really think about it.
Because she found out when they were in the hospital. The first
episode. That's right. Yeah, things. And he just likes laying there. It's like, you have two hearts. He's like, oh yeah. It kind of gets on, like, yeah, can like, kickstart, like, I wish we could kickstart her heart that way. Hold on, just hit me right here. Oh, thank you, I'm back to normal. Yeah,
like, that was kind of a cool, like, extra alienish moment. Because sometimes watching the show, you almost forget that he's not from our world. And so there's like little things like that always kind of was like, oh yeah, he's not here, you know. But it is. I mean, the actor obviously is, but like the character itself isn't. But I generally liked the episode.
Yeah,
it was an interesting introduction to choose for Martha, as far as like her first like official traveling with him thing.
Yeah.
It was kind of one of those episodes that kind of changes the game for you and makes you realize a little bit more about Doctor Who for me personally.
Yeah.
But I will say the one thing I didn't really like was probably the fact that with Rose, yet again to reference Rose because she's one of my favorites, but she would have been there to be able to help him figure it out. And it was kind of like Martha, although she was new to the travel thing, and he makes that comment several times kind of under his breath about her, that it was like, she didn't get how to, like, you know, just didn't say something that would just make it click in his head like Rose would unintentionally just say something and it would just be like, aha, I got it, you know? And so I felt like as a companion this episode she wasn't that great. And I don't think she ever really pulled it through in the end.
Well, but
that was just me.
I mean, I'll give her this, though. It's an introduction to the episode. Not every companion starts off as good. I mean, if you think about it, Rose was a little lost in the sauce in her first episode.
Well, I mean, everybody is when they first start. And
this is Martha's first
credit.
start, so... I still don't like her, but I gotta give her props, you know. It's her first start.
Yeah.
New situation. It's not like you're just gonna be instantly clever. I mean...
Rose was clever. The
Towards
doctor
the end,
agrees. Rose was clever. That's all I'm saying. Rose was clever. And that's where I stand. Now that you guys know how I personally feel about Rose and Martha, that if there was a fight off, I would root for Rose, obviously. But it was, to me, I liked the episode overall. Very few things that didn't really...
I would totally agree. I mean, the references and overall just the setting and of course the little special effects. Like, but
my favorite, the poop being flailed out the windows.
Walk out. Well, let's talk about that for a second. First of all, you come out of the TARDIS, you're like, oh, great, this is great, wow, this is the 1500s. And there's poop. And the doctor, you know, typically like, ooh, I'm sorry, this is before toilets. You know, he seems a little disgusted, and Martha's like, oh, don't worry about it, I've seen worse. Really? I don't care what you work on, you're never really truly comfortable with poo. No. And I'm going to be like, ha! Poo almost splashed on me. Just another day. No.
As we always like to give out a good disclaimer, don't throw poop at people. Last week it was, don't sleep in your little children's bed. This week, don't throw poop at people. No. Those are 2 life lessons for you. You're welcome.
But, as usual, let us know what you think of what we did. And, comment, like, subscribe down there somewhere. I'm not quite sure.
In our magic box. That's what we're going to call it. It's our magic little box of things.
And let us know what episode you like us to review. Like, we'll jump around, honestly.
Yeah, just let us know what episode you want us to watch. Let us know what you thought about our opinions. Give us your opinion as well. Go like us on Facebook. The link will also be in the little magic box. And we'll try to have another video up in 2 weeks from this one posting. So. And
stay tuned. Here at Who Doctor Who, we'll be having a contest soon. So stay tuned for that.
It's a fun little contest.